washed off our houses and vehicles. So that's been fun. I was at a house yesterday doing a reshoot for because the grass is green, and we shot the house in January, so everything looks a lot prettier, and we were wiping pollen off of everything. So I feel everyone's pain. I drive a black car, so now it's sort of a yellowish black car. So happy Friday to you, and we're going to talk about a few different things today. But one of the most important things I want to talk about today is mortgage rates and what is going on with mortgages and what are we looking at as far as people that have outstanding mortgage debt. Now, we have a lot of people in our homeowners in our market, or homeowners in this country, that do not have any outstanding mortgage debt. But those that do, Realtor.com did a really interesting study about some facts about our outstanding mortgage debt, and I wanted to show that to you because I think it's really interesting to talk about this. 82% of outstanding mortgage debt has a sub 6% rate. Okay, so if you think about this from a seller's point of view, someone who is a homeowner that is thinking about selling their home, 82% of our homeowners with mortgage debt has a interest rate below 6%. As a matter of fact, 54% of all mortgage debt is sub 4%. So if you look at this, this little chart right here, this is significant. And this big piece of the pie, actually these two, this dark red and this, slightly lighter red chunk, is massive. 21% have less than 3% mortgage interest rates. 33% have 3 to 4, and 18% have 4 to 5. But this giant piece right here is huge. And why is this important to a real estate market? Because these folks don't want to trade their sub 3, sub 4% interest rates for a 6, a 7, a 8. And this is really indicative of our market right now, because we do not have a ton of great homes on the market. Okay. And I hope as this year goes, we get deeper into the year, if we can get interest rates down some more, maybe some of those folks are going to be willing to trade that sub 3, sub 4% interest rate for a 6 and use some of that equity they have in their home, so that we can see more homes on the market. Now, we looked at graphs and charts yesterday, and we see that inventory is starting to come up. We have a lot more homes that'll be on the market in April, May, June, and July than the majority of the year. But I hope that we continue to see more and more people willing to trade that sub 4% interest rate for something a little bit higher to get a different home. We need more homes on the market. And so if you're thinking about buying a home or selling your home, actually, if you're thinking about selling, you really want to keep an eye on those interest rates, because obviously the lower those interest rates become, the more buyers are going to come into the market. Okay. And that really is something that we have to keep an eye on. Okay. I don't know if this is, here we go. This is another little piece that Realtor.com did about getting buyers back into the market. And here was a question that was asked: how low would rates need to be to make it feasible for you to purchase your next home? Now, you can see the majority, like people were wanting below 4%. I don't know if that's going to happen without buy downs, but I do know that I've already done loans in the last 12 months that were below 6% with rate buy downs. And do believe that we can get close to this 5 with some rate buy downs. But these are folks that have said, 54% have said below 5 or below 6%. This is what it's going to take for buyers to come back into the market. But if we have interest rates that start pushing, that 6, and we can get buyers into sub 6% mortgages, will that do it for more buyers to come into the market? I don't know where the tipping point is where we see a lot of multiple offers, but I know this. We have a lot of pent up demand. We have people that are waiting. They're waiting on the sidelines. Either they're waiting I do run into people that think we are, they're waiting for a market crash. And I just don't see any indication of that happening. But we have people waiting for those interest rates to come down so they can trade their sub 4% mortgage interest rate for something closer to 6 to get them into a different home. And we have people waiting on the sidelines to purchase if they can get a mortgage interest rate that works for them. Now, how would they know when it's time? I don't know that without talking to a lender. And if you haven't spoken to a lender and you're thinking about buying a home this year or next, the earlier the better when it comes to talking to a lender. Even if you're thinking about buying a home next year, it's a great idea to pick up the phone, talk to a local lender about having them run your credit. Take a look at what your credit profile looks like right now. What would you be qualified for? Because if you've got some dings on your credit, you have time to work through those and get things cleaned up. And also have an idea of what kind of mortgage you can afford. Okay. And I have buyers that'll say, how much can I get? That's not the question. The question is, what kind of mortgage is affordable for me instead of paying rent? And those are questions that I, the real estate agent, don't answer, but the lender can. So if you're thinking about buying a home maybe later this year or next year, I've got some really good lenders that I work with. And if you'd like a referral for one, it's no skin off my back for me to refer you to a great lender. And I work with people that are really, really good at communicating with our buyers out there. You don't want to talk to a lender that never talks to you again or is hard to get up with. And I feel like I have a couple of really good lenders that take great care of our clients. But let's get back to this now, because here's a couple more things that I think are really interesting to take a look at. Do you think now is a good time to buy a home? So this chart, this line graph is actually broken into 2 sections. The left side is yes. Is it a good time? The right side is no. And you can see, for the most part, except for millennials, okay, everyone else is saying, no, it's not a good time. Okay. But I'm going to tell you a little secret when it's not a good time to buy a home, when everyone is buying a home, because it makes things so much more competitive. I told you yesterday, and I will continue to say this. I think today is a good time to buy a home because I can, for the most part, negotiate with a seller to get some money for rate buy downs. I can negotiate for money for your closing costs. I can negotiate repairs. I can negotiate a lower purchase price. But if you're competing with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 other buyers on the same home, there is very, very little negotiation. So if you are coming into the market this time of the year, it's a little bit slower than it will be in another month, but we still have a lot of people hanging back. We are seeing price reductions. We are seeing builders giving a lot of closing costs to buyers for rate buy downs and closing cost assistance. So you're not bringing as much money to the table out of your own pocket. So it's a great time to do that. But if we get a massive influx of buyers because interest rates get down to that tipping point, those incentives are going to go away. So if you're thinking about buying, and it may still not be a good time for you to buy, but it's always a good time to explore that. Okay. So for many people, the perception is no, it's not a good time to buy. But if I can get you into a rate buy down where your interest rate is a lot lower than it would be without it, if I can get you closing costs so you aren't bringing as much money to the table at closing, these are things that you might want to take a look at. Okay. So that's really what I've got today for news about housing. I think it's a really, really good I think it's a good time to buy. Is it an awesome time to buy? No. An awesome time to buy would be when you could have low interest rates and not a lot of competition, but that usually is not the case. Usually the case is if interest rates are super low, everybody is buying. Okay. So catch up with a mortgage lender, have a conversation about what's going on in the market, what you can afford, what kind of mortgage interest rates are happening right now, and see where you're at. It never hurts to talk to a lender. It never hurts to just explore that opportunity. Now, I want to talk a little bit about something else because I like to do a home spotlight, and I want to talk about a house that I have on the market, and I think it's a great house. I'm going to actually do my, let's see, I'm going to hit share here. This is a house that I have on the market in Lancaster, South Carolina, 754 Culp Ferguson Road in Lancaster. This house is priced at $1.295 million, and it is an absolutely spectacular house. Now, look, these photos were taken the very 1st of January. So even in January, this backyard looked like this. It is an absolute one of the best looking backyards I've seen in a home in a while. And the cool thing about this house is it sits on 10 acres. And there are not that many homes that have that kind of acreage. And the great other piece about this house is not everybody needs the 10 acres. Okay. But if you are looking for a property that you can have a farmette, you can have some animals. There are no animal restrictions. If you have some horses. Now, this property does not have a barn. It doesn't have fencing for animals, but there's a lot of cleared space on one side of this property, and it would make for a great farmette. There's a lot of space in this home, and this is such a beautiful piece of property. So this is the front of the house, and I absolutely have enjoyed getting to know these sellers. They are lovely, lovely folks, and this is a beautiful piece of property. So if you're looking for a piece of property and you're looking for a home that looks great on the inside, like this house does, the interior of this home has an incredibly high attention to detail. And one of my favorite features in this house is something that I don't see a lot in homes. And it is, let me see if I can find it real quick. It is this right here. They they have some dogs on this property. This family loves dogs, and they built a dog washing station in their laundry room for their dogs. And if your dogs are members of the family like mine are, this is a great feature in a home. There are some homes that have that, but typically I see this in a lot higher of a price point than where this home is. So if you are thinking about looking for a house and would like to take a look at this, just shoot me a text, 704-617-0847. And I hope that, you can take a look at this house and see if this might be the right thing for you. Now, we are getting into the weekend and we got a few things going on. Earth Day's coming up, and there is an Earth Day celebration at the Ann Springs Close Greenway down in Fort Mill. If you have never been to the Ann Springs Close Greenway, you absolutely need to take a look at it. It is about 2,100 acres. It was created by a wonderful lady named Ann Springs Close. And she was an avid horse lady. I remember seeing her riding her black horse. And the Ann Springs Close Greenway has walking trails. They have a dog park. They have mountain biking trails. You can do kayaking there. They have an equestrian center, and they have amazing camps in the summer. If you got a horse kid and want them to learn more about horses, they have some really good horse camps in the summer. I've boarded my horse over there, gotten to know the people there really well. And it is a gem, not only in the Fort Mill community, but in our metro region. And they have a ton of activities over the weekend. The parking prices is reduced. They just have a lot going on. You can go to ascgreenway.org to check out everything that's going on at the Ann Springs Close Greenway. I hope if you've never been over there that you will go check it out. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous facility. It is a beautiful place to go with your family. In the spring and summer, they have a concert series, I believe nights and food trucks, and it's just an amazing place to go. And I hope that you will go check out the Greenway at some point. I absolutely love going over there, and it's just been a wonderful place to hang out with friends and get a little exercise and be around nature and get away from the noise and bustle of our lives. As always, I hope that you will sign up for my newsletter. It goes out on Thursdays every week. Go to cltmarketbuzz.com, cltmarketbuzz.com. You can catch me at annredgroup.com on my website, or shoot me a text at 704-617-0847. I hope to hear from you if you have any questions about the real estate market in the Charlotte region. That is where I operate, and I have been in this business for about 17 years. So I have quite a bit of knowledge about what's going on in the Charlotte market, and would love to talk to you if you have any questions. Catch me at 704-617-0847. I hope you have a great weekend. Thank you for listening in, and I hope to see you next week at 9:30 Monday morning. Take care. Have a great day. Bye.